Uncle C, back in the office, and in today's video I'm going to be discussing a little story time regarding my personal life and my personal experiences with women. This is something I haven't done before, and I think it'll be kind of cool to give you guys an inside look at my life and some of the women I've dated and things that I've learned and earned over the years after working with thousands of men and ultimately going through the trials and tribulations of dating myself. So, story, I was dating a girl in, I think it was summer of like 2016 or summer of 2015, I can't remember. And at the time, like young, I was extremely young. I was extremely naive to female nature. And I was also extremely naive to any sort of, frame control or anything like that. I was just a kid. The one thing I had going for me was I was in really good shape. I always dieted really hard in the summer. I looked relatively good, for as good as my jeans could be at 5'10". I maximized to the fullest at which I thought I could, right? So I'm dating this chick, and it was super great. She was super hot, blonde, great sex. Everything was pretty on point, and I felt like a stud. And I would regularly, have guys other guys would get drunk at parties or something like that, and they'd come up to me, and I would routinely get compliments of oh, your chick's smoking, right? Things like that. So when this happened, right, I don't want to say my ego was inflated, but my guard was low because I just thought I was the shit, and ultimately I thought when you're young and you're dating a girl, a lot of it is lust-based, and kind of all logistics go out the window. And if you're young and you don't have a lot of bills or expenses or overhead, right, and you got just a little bit of cash, you can basically live as free as you want and do whatever you want, right? And that's what I did, and that's what I was doing. Now, I'll never forget, there was this one drive home when we had plans to meet up, or we had plans to hang out or something along those lines, right? And it's probably about 10:30 at night, and I remember I'm going down one of the main streets here in my hometown, and I all of a sudden get hit with a text of something I'm super tired, or I don't think I can. She was getting back into town from some sort of trip with her family or something, and so it was something along the lines of I'm super tired, I don't think I can hang out tonight. And it was really odd because everything for the past 3 hours was normal, and then it was high plans to hang out, and then it's something happened and there was a switch, and all of a sudden it was I can't all of a sudden, or I shouldn't all of a sudden, or I don't want to all of a sudden, or I'm too tired all of a sudden. Okay, I'll get to the point of what happened. So long story short, me and this girl ended up breaking up shortly after this because of the behavior displayed, and because my intuition at the time knew that this was not necessarily a good woman. Here's what happened. The number one thing you want to remember when you are dating a woman, the number one trait you want to look for of never trusting these specific women, is when they display dodgy behavior. Okay, here's what happened. The moral of the story is that she got into town and she knew of a party, right? And at the time, she was under the age of 21. So what she did was she went and she had to go find some liquor from somebody, right? To go pawn, or to buy it off of him, and then go to the party. So me at the time, I didn't know that the party was going down, and I didn't know that it was happening. But I just said, okay, or I didn't. You don't want to look needy in that instance, or you don't want to look needy in that situation. A couple days later, come to find out, dude comes up to me, right? And he's like, yeah, did you and, are you still seeing what's her face? Right, I'm gonna leave out every name. I'm like, yeah, I was with her a couple days ago. Why? And he goes, well, the other night she hit me up for alcohol. And he's like, I didn't give it to her, but I just found that really strange that, that's what she did. And for a second, I could feel a knot in my stomach, because especially when it's a woman that you're sleeping with, right? If there's a woman that you're sleeping with, you feel the things that you've done, or the things that you should be doing. And this is where I really learned the whole alpha seed, beta need, right? Firsthand experience. This is firsthand, I guess you want to call them red pill truths, right? It was so funny because I remember the turnkey moment in my head where I thought about all of the things that I did with this girl. Like I thought about, hey, you know, like we went to XYZ concerts that I invested in, that I paid for. We went to XYZ parties, right? We did XYZ things together. I invested XYZ dollars. I invested XYZ time. I invested XYZ this. I invested XYZ that. And that's when I learned firsthand about covert contracts, and that's when I learned firsthand that what you do for a woman or things that you put into a relationship does not equal alpha desire on the S3 actual playing field, and it never will. Now, the reason why I say this story is because I have a smile on my face the entire time, because looking back, it's so funny how, you know, things like that feel really deep in the moment. Like, oh man, that cuts like a knife, or oh man, like I'm not going to recover from that, or oh, I feel heartbroken, right? Within a week or two, I was back bouncing around, hanging out with other people, and I felt normal again. But I remember just for like a couple days even, I was really pissed. Like I felt really jaded. I felt really cheated on her. I felt really burned. And it was to the point where I didn't even ask her what she did. I didn't care, right? It was the fact that like you lied and said you're going home to sleep, and then all of a sudden you're out doing this, or you're out asking people that I know for liquor because you can't get it. And it just goes to show that, like, I wrote this down on a sheet of paper. What women will do oftentimes is they will look for men who they can extract resources from. Right? You never want to trust a woman who extracts resources without being loyal to you or to the interaction that you're in. Now, here's what you're going to see with good women. What you're actually going to see with good women is you're going to see women who do not extract resources from the man, or they do not take what's been being provided for, unless they ultimately have desire for him and they are being loyal to him. So you will still see women from time to time who understand that sort of contract and will play by the rules. But 99%ers out there, and when I say 99%ers, I mean 99% of women, all of that goes out the window in today's day and age. And it's just funny, you have to be very aware of this. The number one trait that you do not want to trust with women is women who display dodgy behavior. If they display dodgy behavior, right, if there's lies, if there's manipulation, if there's any of that, rest assured you are probably not her first bet. You are probably not her first choice. But number two, what you have to remember is that there is zero hopes of this relationship. There is zero hopes of this interaction with women being rekindled and actually lasting in the long run. And the reason being is because if she's doing this in the short run, she has a fixed perception. She has a fixed identity of you. The second a woman has a fixed identity of you and she thinks she has you figured out, you are much better reinventing yourself, recreating a new identity, and placing something new in front of a different woman than trying to bend the avatar or bend, you know, the archetype that you had with the original woman in the first place. This is a little story time that I like to share just because it's so funny. If you allow a woman to extract resources out of you without playing by the rules or without being loyal, what you're going to be feeling is you're going to be feeling burned on the sexual playing field, and ultimately you're going to be interacting with women who don't necessarily care about you, despite how good the sex is or despite how hot they are. Fellas, if you like this video, here's what I want you to do. Number one, I want you to hit the like button. Number two, I want you to subscribe. And number three, I want to reference a couple links that we have going on right now. The very first link that is brand new for 2022. I've never done this before. Now, brand new for 2022, before we wrap up this video, one of the biggest, most frequently asked questions I've been getting lately is, Casey, people say, Casey, how have you grown your business? How have you grown Headman? What I actually did was this past few months, I took on 40 men over the course of like 4 to 5 months, and I've been showing them inside my exact step-by-step process that I use to grow a company to multiple millions of dollars in sales by just the age of 25. I don't want this to be too pitch or woo-woo, but here's the fact. I did make an entire 30-minute free training for you guys to show you guys how I did this. For you guys who are wanting to be full stack, for those of you who are wanting higher income, higher status, and you actually want to take these full stack strategies that you've learned from me on this channel and you want to start to apply the inside tactics that I use, go down below, click the link for 10 Game. Okay, 10 Game is what I'm going to be showing you, which is my new mentorship. I highly recommend checking out that video. The second thing that I want you to reference is MBT, right? If you're a man where a story like this completely blew your mind, where you're sitting there going, holy smokes, Casey got resources extracted from him when he was young and naive to the dating game, okay? If you're a guy who can't attract women, you struggle talking to women, you struggle approaching women, or you struggle with confidence in your own skin, I'm going to show you an exact 4-step MBT process that you can use to cure all of that once and for all and actually start to attract the women that you've always wanted. Fellas, be sure to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.